My faith is relentless. Yeah. Come on. If you with me, then pick them up and put them down. Boots to the pavement, kingdom invasion, proclaiming his name and reclaiming his people. We are the church, no building, no steeple, making our Lord popular, evangelizing the youth and raising up the generation of Joshua to rise up and open their eyes up and live unashamed for the Christ living inside us. Relentless. Yeah.
Welcome to Relentless Faith, Relentless Faith, Relentless Faith. We are here again, and look who's here tonight. My man, Shama, Mrema.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
You did. You rolled that R.
Yeah, Shama's an old friend of mine. I mean, I'm old, but he's just a friend of mine. I'm a lot older than he is. We went to Holmes Bible College together. We had some extraordinary times. He was just sitting up here telling me about a story that...
Old character Sean used to do at 8 a.m. class. What is it? Are you gonna do it?
Oh, you talking about you don't want to get pulled over by that police.
You said you had a whole bit where you said you don't want to get pulled over by a cop who's got one of these.
Got one of these niggas now. Nowhere in no type of county. You don't want that to happen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man, we had so much fun at Holmes. Man.
I think we only did that because we wanted to get out of like any kind of class happening. So any kind of lecture happening. We're like, hey, the longer we could goof off, the less like
the more the more we can keep this uproar going, the less work we can get done.
And the teacher allowed it. So
yeah, he did.
I mean,
he did.
We kind of
Thank
went
you, Mr.
with
Sheely.
He's not. Is he watching?
I don't know.
Thank you.
But you got a lot of new things happening.
Yes.
You have some new videos that you've been working with.
Yes.
I heard you have you're working in video now.
Yeah, I work for a production company called Let People See. We're on Pelham Road. Mm-hmm. We make all kind of stuff like commercials, music videos for companies, real estate, travel, tourism, a bunch of stuff. I love it. Chris Brank, shout out to Chris Brank and the whole team. Everybody's super cool.
Shout out.
We no, seriously, man. Like I have no background in film or anything, but he gave me a shot and it's been fun. He's been taking me around the country and
you've been doing really, really well, man. I
appreciate it.
Checking out your stuff on YouTube. I'm keeping up with you, man, because I want to be able to say one day that I know that guy. Once God puts you in that groove, and he gets you in that place. And everybody starts seeing, what a wonderful individual that you are and what God has done for you in your life. Yeah. Just things like that right there. And there's other things we'll talk about as the show goes on. But right now, I want to talk about something that happened for you. You took time and took an old classic. And hyped it up.
I did.
Tell me about that.
So we all grew up on, I'll say like my generation grew up on Veggietales. It was, I read a book called Me, Myself, and Bob by the creator of Veggietales, Phil Vischer. And like Veggietales was like this late 90s, early 2000s phenomenon that we all just kind of knew. Yeah. And that's the thing, like I don't know if anybody sought out Veggietales, it just was there. Yeah. You went to Sunday school, you were in children's church, like we just had VHSs. I don't remember buying any, or my parents, but we had them. And so I just remembered a ton of those songs and I had a friend one time.
My kid grew up on Veggietales.
Dude,
he's still,
it's
we got
still a thing.
Now, yeah.
And I worked with a guy named Brian French, and one day he randomly just looked at me and he goes, "We got a show for you." And I went, "Brian, I'm gonna be back." And so I left, and I happened to have a studio session with my friend Andrew Simmons that same day. And I went, "Hey man, let's remix Veggietales." And I just went through like the beginning part, if you, and I went, let's get that tuba. So we sampled the tuba. He chopped it up and added like a beat to the under it, and the internet really liked it.
Yeah,
I mean, it turned out amazing. I was like blown away. I filmed videos on my phone of me just like doing laps in the studio. I was like, "Wow, God, this is!" I was losing it, but it was super fun, and I'm just super glad that everybody loved it.
It was kind of like hearing your song on the radio for the first time.
Dude, yeah, that's exactly how it feels. It was, and I've heard it on the radio.
What was that like, though?
Dude, it was surreal. I mean, because I tell people all the time, like, I've always been making stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I just made stuff from my dad's camcorder and, made stuff in college. So creating something that people loved and people enjoyed, people shared, thousands of people shared and gets millions of views online. I'm just super blessed. I'm like, well, I didn't, I don't expect this, because after a while, you're just kind of like, I'm just going to make something else and release it. And
so what's it like having all this Veggietale money?
All the Veggietale money? Sean, you sound like you want a piece of the pie, and I'm not
kidding. I'm just
kidding. Nothing's happened yet. I'm spent all these views.
Well, that's awesome.
I want some of these million views. I can share some of those.
I'll take a couple of the views.
I'll let you have some.
And this is what we'll do.
Yeah.
Right now, we're going to go into the portion of the show where we show this awesome Veggietale trap remix, and you did an excellent job, man. So why don't you introduce it?
All right. Veggietales remix, directed by Robert Thorell. Shout out to Robert. Produced by Andrew Simmons at Collective Studios. Here it is.
If you like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash can make you smile, if you like to waltz with potatoes up and down the produce aisle, have we got a show for you? Hello, Sean. Drop. Broccoli, celery, gotta be Veggietales. Lima beans, collard greens, peachy keen, Veggietales. Cauliflower, sweet and sour, half an hour, Veggietales. Veggietales, Veggietales, it's time for Veggietales. Throwback, Sunday school, best show, vegetables, every episode so cool. Learn about God in the Bible, low key, grown man, high key, still a fan. I play the songs when I can, cause God's still bigger than the boogeyman. Barbara Manatee and Pizza Angel, come to me. I'm a motivated pirate who don't do anything, no, seriously, I just stay home and lay around. Shout out to Larry the Cucumber and my boy Bob the Tomato. Y'all stick to DC and Marvel. Larry Boy's my superhero. Oh, where is my hairbrush though? Oh, why doesn't everybody ever want a buffalo? Keep walking and walking, but you won't knock down our wall. I think cheeseburgers are precious and the very best show is Veggietales, 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 Veggietales. Never ever been a show like Veggietales. No, there's never ever been a show like Veggietales. I still don't know what I'd do if my lips left me, man. Hey, what y'all know about them say boos? None of them Marvel superheroes got plungers for ears, dog. It's Laura's fault she broke the plate. She kept on saying she had to demonstrate her apple chopper. Chop right through the plate, man. My faith is relentless. Yeah.
Welcome back to Relentless Faith. Relentless Faith, Relentless Faith. I am your host, Pastor Sean, and I am here with my friend Shama. I do that a lot though. Like whenever I text you.
Yeah, you write a lot of A's. I'm like, Sean's gonna break his phone writing all these A's.
I text you because in my mind, when I'm texting you, it's Shama.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's what it is.
It's so funny,
so
dude.
I text it, so I know you understand.
Yeah, I used to come to class late, so I'd walk in the door and be like, Shama.
I used to love it.
I love that, dude.
Yo, man, but you just got married?
I did.
Uh-huh. Bam.
I'm in the club now.
Excellent,
Beautiful
man.
wife, Grace. We just came back from our honeymoon.
Okay.
Last week we were in Italy. I'm not trying to brag. Is that? But we're super blessed.
No. That's blessed. That's a blessing. That's what that is, man. You take time to be able to spend some time in Italy with your newlywed wife, and how was that? How was that going?
Dude, it's awesome, man. Being married is amazing. We met late last year. A friend introduced us. My friend Mason, and we just hit it off.
Yeah.
I tell her all the like when I met her family, I just went, you just have like an American, like a white version of my parents.
Okay.
So this is just like the perfect fit. Like we have like the exact same kind of parents, and we have like a very similar upbringing, and it's a ton of stuff in common. She's a great pianist, great musician, great singer.
Well, that's good, man. That's good, man.
I love her.
And
great cook.
He loves her. And can she cook?
Yeah, she can
Pretty good,
throw
huh?
down.
That's good.
That's important.
Well, let me tell you something. While we're talking about cooking, and don't let it rule you like it ruled me. Okay.
Practice self-control.
Practice some self-control.
I'm trying. Grace,
man.
help. Let's work together. This is the thing.
Well, let me ask you this here: being married, being a newlywed, and having all this exciting things that's happening around you, how are things going as far as your walk with the Lord? And tell me how things are going there.
Man, it's been like very eye-opening this whole year in general. I tell people like this: 2018's been like the highest of highs, and simultaneously with the lowest of lows. So started off with a song we're about to play, like doing really well online, and then in December 31st, I flew to Africa to spend a couple weeks with my parents, and then my dad passed away while I was there. And so going, being there unexpectedly, I have like this kind of like this whole year planned out, and I'm thinking my parents are going to be here during the summer. I was thinking we might get married later. Me and Grace might get married later this year. So just kind of thinking, oh, this is how life is going to be, and then having something like that happen. Man, I'm reminded of what Paul says in Corinthians, like sorrowful but always rejoicing. Yeah. Kind of seeing like the pain of losing a father, but at the same time being comforted and seeing, just kind of like hope and a surprising amount of peace and I don't know, like joy in a way, not to sound like weird, but in a way of just kind of knowing like, man, God is still good. God is still good, and God is still God.
Yes,
and it rains on the just and on the unjust, and regardless of whatever situations. And I think that's kind of like where I had to get sort of like past like myself, because in a way, man, what am I trying to say? Like in a way, you think this is how life is supposed to be, and this is how God works, and this is how God moves, and if you do A plus B equals C, and then God kind of comes in
and smashes
all of that,
Yeah.
and then you go, okay, well and then you kind of correct yourself, and you're checking yourself, and you're kind of realizing, but then it's been, I feel like the closest to God like more than I've ever felt.
And that's just awesome. I thank you for saying it, because it reminds me of something that I kind of live by or have fashioned, my walk, is that you don't go and do something and pray and say, God bless what I'm doing. And I think a lot of time as people, men and women of God, this is what we do. We go forth with an adventure or something that we feel is, we feel like it's what God wants us to do, and we go out and we do it and we ask God to bless it, instead of sitting back and asking God, what is it that you want me to be doing? And wait for him to answer you, and then go forward. Dr. Benson, who was, when I first thought about Holmes Bible College, he was the president at Holmes
Before my
Bible
time, yeah.
Yeah, before your time. And he would say, to wherever the finger of God points, he will provide the way.
Wow. That's
that's what I live by. Whichever way God is pointing, that's the way I want to be going, because I don't want to be kicking against him. And it's just so much to talk about when you get to talking about life, when you get to talking about marriage, you get to talk about cooking. You just got finished talking about what's your favorite meal to eat out? Would it happen to be Chick-fil-A?
Oh, Chick-fil-A. Dude, I love Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A so much that I wrote a song. Wrote a whole song. So this song, I'll say like the history behind the song is like, I go to church. I love church. And after church, I'm one of those like huge advocates for the post-church meal, that lunch. And so I found,
definitely.
you know what I'm talking about. You don't skip meals, Sean.
Exactly.
So I found like my group of friends of the church that I was attending, like somebody would always suggest, let's go to Chick-fil-A. And we'd all have to like look at them and be like, they're closed. You know what I mean? Like we can't go. And that person would kind of, get like their head out of the clouds and be like, all right, cool, so I'm gonna have to settle for something else. So I wrote this song one summer, a couple summers ago, about like Chick-fil-A. I want you, I need you, but it's Sunday. And I recorded it on my own on a computer with GarageBand, and I auto-tuned it, and it sounded like a mess, and I just scrapped it, and I was like, it's whatever. And then I met Andrew a couple summers later, and last summer, actually, I was like, hey, Andrew, I got this thing. I found out he makes music, and I was like, hey, I got this thing. I'll send you a link. Maybe we could do something with it. And he goes, dude, Come over. And so I went, and he went, we're getting rid of this, we're getting rid of the auto-tune, we're getting rid of all, and he just built it from scratch, and he turned this this goofy, silly song into like a ballad, and yeah.
And what's the name of it again?
It's called Chick-fil-A, but it's Sunday. But it's Sunday.
Chick-fil-A, but it's Sunday.
Chick-fil-A, I want you, I need you, but it's Sunday. Chick-fil-A, I want you, and I need you, but it's Sunday. Chick-fil-A, you're the love of my life. If it were legal, I'd make you my wife. You serve the best chicken and waffle fries. Give me that number 2, I mean number 5. Would I like a sandwich? Nah, make it a meal. I broke my piggy bank, so I'ma keep it real. At the register, I'm balling my order. You're cooking my drink, I am sipping. My name you are calling. Everything I say, you respond with my pleasure. I sit in the booth, chowing down at my leisure. But you're closed when I need you real bad. So I'm stuck at my house, feeling nothing but sad, singing Chick-fil-A, I want you, I need you, but it's Sunday. Chick-fil-A, I want you, I need you, but it's Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, withdrawals on the Lord's Day. Chick-fil-A, you are better than Zaxby's, Popeyes, Churches, Bojangles, KFC. Give me that number 1, I mean number 4. If I'm done and hungry, I'll come and order more. All your milkshakes are so pretty. I OD on Mimi's and refill my sweetie. You got everything that I want, everything that I need. Chick-fil-A sauce so good like it was made by G.O.D. You the best restaurant in the world. If it were legal, I'd make you my girl. I walk into church craving you for my breakfast. December 25th, you're the top of my wish list. But you're closed 10 p.m. Saturday, so I'll drink my own tears till 6 a.m. Monday. Chick-fil-A, I want you, and I need you, but it's Sunday. Chick-fil-A, I want you, and I need you, but it's Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. Birthday, holiday, vacay, anniversary, snow day, sick day, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I need you. Chick-fil-A. Birthday, holiday, vacay, anniversary, snow day, sick day, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. My faith is relentless. Yeah.
Welcome back to Relentless Faith. I am still here in the studio with my man Shama. Shama Mrema. Love saying that. Man, how your brother doing?
He's doing well, man.
Yes,
my
good.
brother as well.
It's
My
good.
sister as well. I have siblings.
Cool. So
Yeah.
everybody's doing well. How's your
Yeah.
mom doing?
My mom's doing really well. She's back in Tanzania. She flew out
Okay.
last Wednesday. Yeah.
wonder if
I
they
was flying back into the U.S. and she was leaving. So.
I remember meeting them at one time at the school.
Yes.
And I would have loved to got a chance to see her while she was here.
Oh man, I hate
Yeah.
that she was here and like we were playing. There was a memorial service for my father who passed away earlier this year in the stateside, and then she was here for the wedding. She was planning that, and she was doing a ton of stuff, and then she left. So.
Yeah. Well, did they do a? Did you guys go to church any while you were here? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I know
We
your
did.
mama.
We
You
did.
went to church somewhere.
Oh yeah, you know. Even when I didn't want to go to church, I went to church so I could tell my mom that I went to church.
This is what I was thinking about. Now this next portion this last video that we're going to show is, to me, one of my favorites that you put together. It is hilarious, and it is so what's going on. It is so necessary.
Yeah.
Explain the video. Okay,
so the video is called Shama, Mrema Teachers Clapping. It's a parody of master classes. They're all over the place now, where they take like a professional in a field and they do like a 10-part video series, and they do like, workbooks or whatnot. So I pitched to some friends. We had a free day. We had gear, compliments of Chris Brankett, let people see. And he was like, hey, what do y'all want to do? And I went, hey, I wrote this thing on a plane a couple months ago about, it's like a parody of a master class, except I teach people how to clap, specifically Caucasian people. Okay. And they were like, all right, let's shoot it. And I pitched it to them, and they loved it, and we made it. And I was like, hey, I need this to be all the silliness of like everything silly, but all the seriousness of a master class. And my friend Zach Millsaps directed it, and we just killed it. We shot it at North Greenville, and it was amazing. It turned out amazing. Yeah, and people have been telling me, hey, when is the full thing coming out?
I know, right?
And I'm like, it's not a real thing. I'm not gonna teach you how to clap. Please.
It should be
learn.
A 10-part series.
Yeah, get like
a 10-part series.
Get a metronome and just teach yourself somewhere, please. But it should be. It could be. If somebody funds it, I'll do it.
But that's a problem in some churches.
Oh yeah.
And it's not just. I mean, it's like all across the board. All across the board. If you're in church and somebody's clapping to the beat, hey, oh, you grooving, right?
Yeah.
But you got that one guy that's.
Immediately, you got to stop. You got to turn around and try to find the person.
You got to stop your praise. You're trying to get your praise on.
Yeah.
And somebody comes in and destroys your praise.
I grew up as a missionary kid, and we traveled the South Carolina itinerating. So I've been to like over 300-400 churches. So I've seen the best and the worst. So.
Okay. Well, introduce your master's clapping video.
Shama, Mrema Teachers Clapping.
Every time someone claps off beat, an angel loses its wings. I don't care how lacking you think you are in music. If you have two hands, you're a musician. There are different tones, there's pitches, there's with weight. See what I'm doing? You can't, what else kind of instrument can you get that kind of pizzazz? I started off at church. Who knew that I would sell out Madison Square Garden? If some of these techniques seem hard right now, I'm gonna ask you what isn't hard. You know, you're learning a skill that you've never had before. I can't make you want this. I'm a teacher, not a magician. This is a dry erase marker, not a wand. The fundamentals, this is where we live. This is where we grow. We go places, but this is where I end it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Palm to palm. Palm to palm. White people, I'm gonna teach you everything I know about rhythm. I made a decision while growing up in Birmingham, Alabama, that I just wasn't gonna live, clap, and die there. Is it gonna be easy? No. Is it gonna be worth it? Absolutely. If you keep on practicing and putting that work in, you're gonna make it. You're gonna clap well. You're gonna clap great. Imagine being on beat every time you put your hands together. I'm Shama Mrema, and this is my masterclass.
Welcome back to Relentless Faith. Relentless Faith, as Sean says. He says it twice. We love playing and having fun, and I like making silly stuff, but at the same time, I think it's all rooted in Jesus. It's all rooted in the gospel, and it's all rooted in our fun. Like has a purpose and has a reason in a way, and that's the gospel message. And if there's one thing that I want to share that I've learned this year, is that there are no losses in the kingdom of heaven. And in a way that we learn in the world a lot, like the world kind of communicates in terms of wins and losses, and if you do this, you'll win. If you do this, you'll. But trusting in Jesus, I'm positive you've tried doing life on your own, and how far has it gotten you? Right? How far has it gotten you? How far have your efforts gotten you? And taking your efforts, your hope, your faith, and putting it in the Lord because He loves you and He's got a plan for you. And regardless of what you think that plan could be, His plan is better. And trusting Him is the best thing that you can do. Thank you for watching.